So go ahead and share who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your family and involvement in policing.
Being in this world has given me, this front row seat. So I always say, I never wore the body armor myself. I never wore the uniform, but I sure know the weight of it, right? So I was a special education teacher. Once we had kids, I stayed home. But that's when I started to really dive into how to support my own issues with anxiety. And in doing so, found great relief through yoga, meditation, and whatnot. And the more that I studied, the more I realized this needs to be throughout the law enforcement community. Like it seems on the outside such a different world, right? This whole relaxation side when it's like, go hard, let's go, like, like just, so it's like, how do I marry these two? And, from that work with Warriors at Ease and really understanding what that continued stress over time, what it does to the brain, what it does to the body, and how it affects not only your work performance, but how it affects your family.
We face trauma every day and we're not recognizing it because it's normalized in a sense. And so the work that you do is very similar to what we stand for. How can we implement strategies in our everyday, in the different workforce that we exist in, that can really create longevity and sustainability and so forth. The reality is that messaging around wellness is hard when you're taught to push. Because you're a certified IRest coach, talk about the work that you do physically in the police agencies to help them deal with trauma, both the civilians and the sworn.
When I look at policing, right, as a spouse, I feel like I've gotten a pretty good view.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very reactive.
Yes. Yep.
Very reactive. And that's not how to build up morale. That's not how to build up wellness in your community. It's have an existing resilience practice in place so that if a high stress incident occurs, right, that person can just come right back into the fold. It can right back into the interactions that were already happening. So for me, that's a really big piece, building resilience. Stop being reactive in your department and start having some kind of resilience so that it's so normal. Like, oh yeah, there's always a practice going on. There's always, Jen has this meditation thing and it's.
You're an agency and you were like, Agency Dawn, here's what you need to do first to build this out. What would be that recommendation for me?
IRest, or integrative restoration, is the first thing I think of because it's the quickest piece that can be implemented with the least amount of physical space efforts and whatnot. I could walk into a room of 400 people, share a practice, and each person will have a completely individual experience. And that's a really important piece. I think something like this, that is a research-based practice. Everything that I share is research-based because I think it's the teacher in me. I love some data. I want to see the proof because it's a non-pharmaceutical support to your staff. Research and trauma all points to the same thing. You need to move your body.
Yep.
You need to have some kind of breath practice and something to engage the mind. And that's where I come in with integrative restoration. When you're doing those things, you're helping to process trauma. Now, not every yoga teacher is a trauma-informed or a trauma-centered teacher. So you might find yourself in a class, or maybe you've gone to a class before and you think, like, I don't know what this chick's saying. I am not coming back to this. This is not for me. She's making me bend myself into a pretzel. Like, I am not a pretzel bending kind of teacher, okay? Everything that I do as a trauma-informed teacher is helping you get more grounded, helping you connect with these felt senses in the body. So it is important that you kind of think about that.
Thank you for taking the time to share your gifts with us and with so many law enforcement communities around the globe. So thank you so much.